Lazy people of Reddit, how did you overcome your laziness? 2 things that helped at least a little bit. 1. Doing things early during the day. The later the day gets, the less likely I will do what I should do. This will also free your mind from that thing for the rest of the day. 2. Making a visual to-do list on a piece of paper placed in a spot that I will see it multiple times during a day. Routine. I'm a creature of habit. I had to force myself into the discomfort over and over again. Eventually this becomes the new normal. It's all habits, you have to force new ones. 2 things, finding something I love doing for work and the 5-minute rule. Basically, if it will take you less than 5 minutes, you do it. This then applies to everything with motivation. You get to a point where rather than having to motivate yourself to do things, you train yourself to respond to the thought. Rather than I should go to the gym being followed by trying to find the energy and being passive, you get into the habit of when you have that thought you change clothes, gather your stuff and leave the house immediately. It doesn't always help, but I achieve a lot more than I used to. I think the key to making it work is getting enough sleep. It took a while for me. I realized my laziness was probably due to being depressed, and I was depressed because I wasn't doing anything but coming home and smoking pot and playing video games. Now, I don't have problem with a little weed and video games, but for me it was routine. I started going to the gym every other day and started being more active to combat depression, and I've since lost 70 pounds and have become a lot happier with my way of life. I quit smoking mainly for the job I'm currently trying to get, and that only helped because rather than coming home and getting stoned, I wanted to do other things with my day. I have actual hobbies and interests now, and find that I like myself as a person now. Whenever I've got a full-time job, it switches my life around. I want to go to the gym, see friends, cook, etc. When I'm part-time / studying / not working, I go back into mega lazy mode. A few comments call it what it is, and the others almost all seem to fall squarely into the realm of depression. The frustrating thing about this too of laziness or being unmotivated is that it's either ignored because you're lazy or it's given that heavy diagnosis of depression. Not all forms of depression result in you being sad, suicidal, or miserable all the time. For years now I've been unmotivated and what I thought was lazy. I'd wait till the last minute to do homework, I'd watch YouTube or TV for hours on end, not do much with my day, and I slowly stopped doing the things I enjoyed, like video games or working out. Then I ended up napping a lot. Like physically couldn't stay awake no matter how hard I tried. I went to the doctor and they said the basic nonsense about diet and exercise, so I figured that I'd prove to them that wasn't the case. So I started eating better and exercising with no change. Saw a different doctor and she immediately diagnosed it as depression. I really didn't believe her since I'm not sad, suicidal, or want to hurt other people. She gave me a referral to a therapist and left it up to me to decide when to go. Well, I fucking procrastinated as usual and it took me months to go. When I arrived, I immediately told the therapist I think it's all bullshit, and I'm not depressed. That's when she started explaining the different forms for depression, anxiety, and stress. It really bugs me that all forms of depression are grouped under the single name, as it prevents a lot of people from getting the really simple and basic help they need to get back on track with things. Anyway, she explained that this form of depression is caused by internalizing pressure and stress, which in turn exhausts you both mentally and physically. Mismanaging your time and procrastination slowly builds up a subconscious pressure that will drag you down, but it will also make you accustomed to the immediate reward of not doing something. A few examples. Not washing the dishes or doing the laundry causes you to think about it each time you see it or need a dish or piece of clothing. As it piles up, it also piles onto your subconscious, but instead of doing it, you can immediately get satisfaction by grabbing a new plate, or a partly dirty shirt. It'll keep weighing on you though. Throughout the day that pile will sneak into your mind for a few seconds and bring you down a little more. The same goes for sleeping. The more you hit snooze, or oversleep, or take naps when you're tired, the more your body will become accustomed to the immediate reward of going back to sleep rather than the delayed reward of staying up and doing something productive. Anyway, I ended up going to a therapist for cognitive behavioral therapy, which turned into basically just a lesson on time management and balancing work/routine/hobbies. I'd recommend anyone who feels lazy to check it out. Things like SMART goals, the vicious/virtuous cycle, and the three-legged stool are all great tools to overcome this type of laziness and depression. Edit. This workbook is what my therapist used, and it's incredibly helpful on its own. The most important thing to remember is to not jump straight into things and expect to be better in a day. I've been working at it for about a year now, and some days and weeks I fall back into old routines. Overall though, I went from sleeping until noon and going to sleep at crazy hours and getting 10 to 12 hours of sleep, eating like shit, napping, and barely getting things done, to waking up at 6 AM, going to sleep at 11 PM, going to the gym every day, never napping, and getting tons of work done. Edit 2. Oh my lord, this really took off. I'll try to respond to as many people as possible between trying to reunite my colonies/crush the Byzantine Empire and bedtime. Gotta keep that healthy balance. Edit 3. Also, thank you so much for all the awards. I don't really know what they are, but it's neato. Also, thanks for people who have donated on my behalf to charities. That's a really amazing thing to do. Edit 4. It looks like the link has crashed, but this link to the PDF might be working. It's from Talk Plus, which is an NHS website here in the UK. Edit 5. The two links above were for the Behavioral Activation Workbook from Talk Plus based in the UK. Hopefully they'll be back up. I've looked for other workbooks like this one which uses the same exercises and diagrams, but I've never used it personally. Edit 6. Some posted the PDF on GitHub for those looking. Not to diminish what other people are saying, but sometimes the just do it advice doesn't quite touch home for a lot of people, like me, who doesn't necessarily feel lazy but just tired all the time, which can be construed as laziness. But do you ever notice when you're feeling tired or lazy, it's usually when you're sitting, maybe watching TV, sitting on the computer, in a comfortable position. Sometimes being productive takes steps. One thing that helped me is to take the baby steps. I'll be sitting watching TV, and start to doze off. What is one small thing that can help with that? Stand up and watch TV. It'll make you feel a little less tired. Standing and watching TV, then, might make you feel a little restless. Maybe you look over at the table and notice it's a little cluttered, so you walk over and clean it while you stand and watch TV. Maybe when you finish cleaning the table while you watch TV, you'll remember you have a project or assignment you need to work on, so you can start doing that while you stand and have the TV on in the background. Maybe when you worked on your project for a little while, you start to get a little mentally fatigued, so maybe you take a break with that by watching some TV, but maybe this time you do it while standing and doing some dishes. Simply standing is a huge starting point for me. Whenever I feel tired or lazy and I don't really want to be, and I want to be productive, I'll just stand up, maybe walk around the house a little bit. It gets the gears in motion for me, and it's an incredibly small but effective starter. A body in motion stays in motion, and a body at rest stays at rest. I found out that is a very true statement. Edit. Thank you for the silver, friend. I hope this advice has benefited people. I realized that my laziness was a symptom of my depression, so I start treating my depression. I took my antidepressant but also changed my lifestyle. Instead of getting out of bed with just enough time to get ready, I get up with time to jog, eat breakfast with my wife and daughter. I started meal prepping to make sure we could have healthy lunches and dinners. I also started doing more self-care. I am down 15 pounds and feel a lot better. By procrastinating being lazy. I started a couple of fixed daily/weekly schedules, like what time to work out. I chose something that I enjoy doing and tie a fixed schedule to it, then expanded by scheduling more useful things like a sleeping schedule and eating schedule. I slip up occasionally, but those things that I like stay constant, and it helps. Meds. Turned out the laziness was my ad preventing me from focusing on tasks long enough to finish them. I started doing favors for my future self. I treat myself like I would my best friend or my partner, and make sure to take care of her like I would them. Man, I'm really tired, but future cyanide_girl would probably be so grateful if you did the laundry for her so she can relax tomorrow. It sounds kinda sad, but you are your own best friend. You're the one that's gonna be there if everyone else leaves, so take care of yourself like you would for your child/mother/sister/best friend. Also, forgiveness is key. If you didn't do the thing, but should have done the thing, don't dwell on it. I find it makes me more and more sad the more I think about the thing I didn't do. You kinda have to treat yourself like a little puppy. If your puppy ate your socks, you wouldn't kick your puppy. Puppa don't know any better, but you can get them a chew toy for next time. And sometimes, your puppy will still eat your socks, but it's okay because you love them. Edit. Hey, I should probably mention that this isn't all my idea. Some guy posted a while back about no more 0 days, and while I don't strictly adhere to all of its tenets, it seriously changed my life for the better. Here's a link. Being lazy started to require more effort than the actual task, it just started to not be worth it anymore. Got a job that forced me to be on basically 100% of the time. The more others depend on me, the less lazy I tend to be. I'm still lazy. Basically knowing I need to work to exist is what keeps me motivated. TL, Doctor, everyone feels tired when their alarm clock goes off early, you just have to get out of bed when you're tired instead of laying in bed until you feel rested. I asked my wife this week, I feel so tired when my alarm clock goes off, I just want to keep sleeping until I don't feel so tired. How do you get out of bed so early? How do you feel so energetic in the morning? To which she responded that everyone feels tired when their alarm clock goes off, you just have to get up anyway. It was an eye-opener for me that I wasn't supposed to just lay in bed until I felt like getting up. It's summertime and I'm a teacher, so I don't have to go to work until later this month. For me it was mostly being tired of doing nothing. Now, saying that is much easier than actually getting over it. I did my best to make it something of a habit. Come back from the office, rough day, tired as hell. Kitchen's messy. Clean it, doesn't matter how tired you are. You'll feel better when it's clean. Gotta do laundry. Do it. You'll have fresh clothes later. I've come to find that thinking about how doing something will result in a positive goes quite a ways in terms of incentivizing you to do it. With time, the forcing yourself stops feeling forced and it becomes natural. My 2 cents. Edit. Whoa, my first silver. Thank you, kind Redditor. Edit number 2, you gold. Thanks so much. Edit number 3, another silver. You're crazy. Thanks. Less than 3. Edit number 4, and another gold. Gonna take this chance to say hi to /r/award speech edits. If it can be done in 5 minutes, get it over with now. If you have to do something like go to the gym but can't find the energy, just put on your gym clothes. Then you're already dressed. Realized the laziness was actually procrastination caused by my anxiety and depression. I go to therapy now and I've come up with ways to curb my procrastination, such as setting timers, giving myself rewards, finding more effective ways to work and working out what triggers my anxiety, and I'm less harsh on myself if I'm not up to a task. Quit smoking pot. Quit drinking. I realized that my goal in life is to live in perpetual lounge mode, and in order to achieve that I really needed to be successful in life and make good money early on. So that's what I did. I learned and worked as hard as I can with the goal that one day, I will retire and just lounge around in my giant house and play video games all day. Automation. I didn't, but if I put things off I only end up having to work even harder later, so I don't. I'm still lazy, but I'm smart lazy. I cleaned my room. I used to weigh close to 300 pounds. My room had trash all over it, you couldn't even see the floor, and I was 19 years old. I decided to change. I cleaned my room, then started going to the gym, lost 100 pounds in a year, and now at 23 am healthy, happy, and in a long-term relationship, with a great job, and living life to the fullest. Comes to this thread, is it possible to learn such power? Had a realization that I wasted many years of my life, and was never going to get the time or ruined relationships back. I started to feel ashamed about how much of my life I had wasted. I realized that I would trade my entire life savings to spend just 15 minutes with my friend who committed suicide. Had a realization that, on my deathbed, I would never think to myself I wish I watched more TV. I stopped watching porn. I realized how important getting enough sleep is, 8+ hours in my case. I cut down on my alcohol consumption. I discovered stoicism. Started by establishing a routine. Wake up early, jog, shower, breakfast. The rest of the day is structured in blocks of work and breaks to allow me to focus on what needs to be done that day. I read somewhere once, that if it takes between 5 seconds and 5 minutes to complete a task, do it. Every single time. It's just 5 seconds to 5 minutes. Once I started putting it into play, it became second nature. My first impulse is always, nah. But then I remember 5 by 5 and I sigh a little, and just do it. Whatever it may be. I'm still lazy, but I've found it's much easier to do nothing when you've already done the work than when you've got tons of work to do. Future me is lazy. Present me works hard so that future me can be lazy. Most replies are probably from people who've been sitting in the toilet for 45 minutes browsing RedditTroll. Bought a Fitbit and started getting those 10,000 steps.